Good morning. My name is Joe Sullivan. I'm a Regional Policy Manager at the Center for Energy and Environment. Thank you for being here today. And my presentation today will be on the changing electric system and energy efficiency's promise to keep our bills low. So for those of you who don't know, CEE is a Minnesota-based nonprofit. We're a nonprofit organization that promotes energy efficiency to both strengthen the economy and improve the environment. And we do this really four ways: by conducting nation-leading energy efficiency research, running award-winning energy efficiency programs that have to date saved Minnesota customers well over $500 million. Also, we offer clean energy financing and loans, lending, and we've lent more than $200 million. And often those loans are loans that are for about $8,000, and they are low interest loans. And lastly, we do policy, and we're very proud of the policy innovations that we have worked on and have played a key role in enacting, such as Minnesota's Energy Efficiency Resource Standard. That's the 1.5% electric utility savings goal, and the 1% gas goal, and the associated financial incentives that really breathe life into those standards that help the utilities accomplish those aggressive goals for saving energy. So CE has been around for 36 years. We've got decades worth of accomplishments, but some of the most important and eye-opening for the programs that we've run. We've served more than 80,000 residential customers. Those are programs like the Home Energy Squad that come in and you call the electric utility, and they will send a group to come out and assess your home and to install new lights or new low-flow shower heads. So we've served more than 80,000 residential customers. We've supervised and tested more than 13,000 homes in the Metropolitan Airport Commission sound insulation program, and we've completed more than 10,000 lighting retrofits. And those lighting retrofits annually are saving those customers almost $100 million annually, and we keep adding to that number. Our lighting programs are very successful, and we keep adding new people to that. Our lending center has originated more than 25,000 loans, totaling almost $200 million. We close about 800 loans annually, and the average loan is about $8,000. Our engineering services, these are, CE has got a group of expert and industry-leading engineers. They conduct third-party investigations of buildings. They've investigated more than 30 million square feet of building space, and we pride ourselves that our engineering services, the average building for projects that they work on, see a payback of less than 2 years. We pride ourselves with that's very important, because project owners or building owners typically are not interested if you have longer paybacks. So 2-year or shorter paybacks is when people really get interested in doing an efficiency upgrade. And lastly, the research that we conduct. Some of the accomplishments, these are nationally recognized research. Research informs all of the programs that we operate, and really importantly, we've published more than 125 technical papers. And these are not short, itty-bitty papers. These are really long, involved, nation-leading and industry-leading papers that help inform not just programs here, but programs nationally. So very, very proud of the research that we do here in Minnesota. So jumping into it, the way that this presentation is going to work is I focus first on how Minnesota's electric system is changing and the significant changes that are underway now but have been underway, and that leads to how the system, what it's going to look like in the coming years, and specifically why energy efficiency is important for customers, for end users, for businesses, as we transition into a new electric system and also gas system. But so today, Minnesota's energy transformation. And this slide I put together recently, but it goes back to 1990, and you can see how significantly the system has changed up to 2013. And unfortunately, the data that we have it lags by a couple years, so that's why we have 2013 data as the most recent. But you can see in 1990 that there were really two sources of electricity in our system, and then there was just a couple smaller slivers of natural gas and hydroelectric, and then a very small chunk of wind and solar and renewables. But there were two things in 1990, so that was the year I started high school, and there was nuclear and coal, and that was pretty much it. By 2007, the system had really started to change, so 15 or 17 years later, you can see a significant amount of change. And I liken the change that's driving the system to, like, if you're turning a very large boat. You slam the rudder over and the boat starts slowly turning at first. So for the first 17 years there was change, and you can see that here. But it's, there's the two biggest chunks are still nuclear and coal, but the wind piece is larger, the natural gas piece is larger, and the hydroelectric piece is about the same size. But the boat is turning. It's not turning maybe as fast, but it is changing. By 2013, though, you can see that really the boat has really started to turn quite a bit. So in those 6 years between 2007 and 2013, there's been a massive amount of change that has occurred. The wind and renewables number is now the third largest source of electricity in our system. It's very close to being the second largest sources, and I'll get into that a little bit more. Natural gas number is quite a bit larger, and you can see that the coal number is smaller. The nuclear number is about the same, but the key point here is that there's a lot of change that's occurred, but we've still got a lot to go, and now the boat is turning quite quickly. I thought this was an interesting slide here. This is those 2013 numbers, but also including energy efficiency. So what you can see here is energy efficiency is a very large piece of the pie. It's about 14% of our electric system comes through savings in our conservation improvement programs that our electric utilities run. So it's a very significant amount of electricity is saved rather than generated. To put this number, we generate as much electricity from wind as we save in our energy efficiency program. So it's a very, very significant piece of the system. And also interesting is we save more energy in our system. You can tell also here, this is a document that we put in there to help address, people want to know, what's this transformation costing us? And what you can see is actually the transformation, these are 2014 numbers from the federal government's Energy Information Agency, but Minnesota is doing really quite well. This is a 14-state region, including the U.S. Average, and Minnesota in our region has the third lowest electricity prices, only just a little bit lower for North Dakota and Iowa. But so Minnesota's transformation to date has been really quite good for our customers. We have done this, and our electricity prices, the bills that people pay, are low relative to the region, and that's a success story. So the big trends in Minnesota: approximately 12% annual reduction in coal use from 5 years ago, 22% reduction from 1998. Coal is still approximately 50% of the energy generated and consumed in Minnesota. Wind energy has increased by 2.5 times since 2006, and as of 2015, it's about 17% of our electric system. I've seen what's going to be built over the next couple of years, and it's within the next 2 years, wind will become the second largest source of electricity on our electric system when it surpasses nuclear energy. So it's a huge change that has occurred, and that's what we refer to as on an energy basis. That's the electricity that people consume over the course of the year. The second largest source of that consumed electricity over the course of the year will be from wind energy. That's not the amount of capacity that is out there in the system. That is the amount of electricity that you consume. That's the real impact is on the amount of energy you consume, and wind is really becoming a very large source of that. Our nuclear fleet, there's only 3 power plants, or 3 reactors, but they continue to churn out approximately 23 to 24% of our electricity. It shows what a huge part of the electric system those 3 reactors are, and there's some really big discussions and decisions that are going to have to come in the next 15 years as we think about what do we do with these older facilities that are a quarter of our electric system and are quite a bit older and are slated to be decommissioned. And lastly, our system is decarbonizing. This is a very big trend. You can see it. Minnesota carbon emissions are down approximately 20% since 2007, and based on what our Pollution Control Agency says, the new rules, the Clean Power Plan rules, which will require basically a 40% reduction for Minnesota by 2030. Minnesota will meet that based on our existing trajectory. So our system is decarbonizing, and the system is changing quite a bit. So the macro drivers affecting the power plant fleet, what is causing this massive boat to turn? Right now, and really over the last couple of years, low natural gas prices and also low wind prices, but primarily low natural gas prices. They put extreme pressure on the coal and nuclear fleet, and it makes them uneconomic. So older coal facilities that, they're older, they need significant upgrades to keep running. They're just in a world of hurt. They have to require significant investments to keep them operating. So most people decide that they will just close those facilities and build a new gas plant or a new wind facility. The public is increasingly demanding cleaner and newer power plants. The way the public demands that is through legislative activities for increased renewable energy standards or regulatory activities at the Public Utilities Commission. So the public is demanding newer and cleaner facilities. There's a lot of regulatory uncertainty around not just the carbon dioxide rules that have been stayed by the federal court, but there's a number of other rules that have created uncertainty. And lastly, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission's 20-year licenses for Minnesota's nuclear reactors, they will expire in the early 2030s. So we're almost halfway through the current licenses, and our utilities are going to have to start dealing with one utility, Xcel Energy, is going to have to start dealing with that in Minnesota. But nationally too, nationally about 20% of our power comes from nuclear, and they're all going to be up for either relicensing or shut down in the 2030s. So it's a huge driver that's out there that we are starting to see. It's now very much on the horizon and coming at us. So all of this goes together, and you can see how the results of this are the system is going to start changing very significantly, and it's going to be faster. And this is what this is what it looks like. So by 2040, about 3/4 of the power, and you can actually take that 2040 number down to 2035. By 2035, about 3/4 of the power that is currently consumed in Minnesota will likely be replaced by newer facilities. So it will be ready to be replaced or can be replaced. And a very, very large chunk of it will be replaced. So the electric system over the next 20 years is going to is going to really change at a much faster pace. So the upshot of all this is that there is a potential for rate increases for residents and businesses and governments. Anytime a utility is purchasing anything or building anything, the way that they recover those costs is by including it in their rates. So there is a potential for rate increases. There will be a cleaner but more reliable electric system. A lot of uncertainty, as we've talked about. And the upside, though, is there's going to be more opportunities for customers and for businesses to control costs and be involved in the system. So how does this relate to energy efficiency? What can a business or an individual do? And I think the best way to do that is you invest in energy efficiency. So getting pushed around does not have to be an option. Electric bills are not electric rates. This is a really, really important point. Businesses and individuals, ratepayers, they can have low electricity bills even if they have higher electricity rates. And the reason for that is that a bill is an electricity rate times the amount of energy that you use. So if you have a higher rate but you use less energy, you very well could have a lower electric bill. It's a formula. And if you have a low electric bill or a low electric rate but you have high usage, you could have a really high bill. And what people really care about at the end of the day is what they're paying on the bill. So energy efficiency directly impacts how much energy you use. And that's why you can have low electric bills even when you have relatively higher electric rates. I'm not saying that high electricity rates is a good thing. It's not a good thing. But you can control the impact of your electricity rate by through using and optimizing energy efficiency. And also optimizing electricity use keeps resources local through savings and by utilizing local businesses. This is one of the great benefits of investing in efficiency, is it keeping resources local. And I see this all the time when we go and we do these conservation improvement project tours where we take policymakers to buildings with electric contractors who have done the project, the SIP project, and we show them, look at all the jobs that are created by this one particular SIP project. Look at the happy customers. The electric utility is happy, and then you've created great local jobs with the electrical contractors. So what is energy efficiency? In Minnesota, and I think this is really, really important because there's a lot of there's some misinformation out there about what is energy efficiency. But it's really important to understand that energy efficiency is cost effective. Energy efficiency pays for itself over its lifetime. And it is, if a project uses less energy but never pays for itself, that's not more efficient. And that is a concept that is in Minnesota statute, and all of Minnesota's utility programs are based on cost-effective energy efficiency. So efficiency pays for itself. The way we think of energy efficiency at CE is efficiency is it's increased energy productivity. Efficiency is about fixing electric leaky faucets. About basically doing the same thing. You want to, you're going to run your lights for 8 hours a day, but you don't want to waste a bunch of energy while you're running those lights. So you use an electric utility rebate to get better, newer lights that use less electricity, but you're still doing the same. You're just using less electricity to do it. So efficiency saves money, resources, reduces emissions, and it allows dollars to be spent on business priorities, on the key priorities of your business, of your home, of your municipal government. So efficiency increases customer control in that, and it keeps bills low even when rates go up. And this is something that I think is a really important concept that I think is I've noticed is kind of missing out there, but I'm trying to really insert it back into the discussion. And it's the idea that a rebate is a bad thing because it's a subsidy. But that's not the way that we should look at rebates in the context of energy efficiency and the context of conservation improvement programs. Because in this context, a utility rebate, the rebate is how the electric utility buys energy efficiency as a resource from its customers. That's how a utility uses the rebate to buy the low-cost efficiency from their customers. And the way that it does that is by using that rebate, that's similar to if it has to go out and build a wind farm or a gas plant, it uses its capital expenditure budget. If it wants to go out and buy energy efficiency, it uses a rebate. And the amount of money that the utility spends on energy efficiency, the rebate for the savings that you get is less than if you had to generate that power using any other source of electricity. So efficiency is the lowest cost resource, and the way that we get that are through electric utility rebates. So there are really three ways that CEE offers businesses to get involved into energy efficiency programs. And I think that everything I said is great, but really, how do you get involved? And there are a number of resources that are available to you, and CEE offers great options for people. There are also options that we'll talk about later on the panel discussion, and also on a handout that I've got later that you can go directly to your utility and work with them as well. So some of CEE's programs, we have three main programs. We have a small business lighting program, we have an energy intelligence program, and we have our engineering services. So our small business lighting program, that's a free energy lighting audit. If you are in Xcel Energy's service territory, you can work with us. We will come in, we'll do a lighting audit. We offer substantial utility rebates of up to 60% of the project costs in some cases. And it's basically a start to finish oversight of the entire retrofit process. And then we complete all the paperwork to make sure that the utility gets the credit for the savings. We have extensive expertise in lighting retrofits for private and public buildings. We've worked on schools, hotels, bakeries, malls, fire stations, city halls, you name it. And we find very, very significant energy savings opportunities most of the time. And the reason that we focus on lighting is because lighting consists of 25 to 30% of an energy's of a building's usage of electricity. And you can see that in this slide right here. Interior lighting in this example, it's a little dated. It's 28.7%. Exterior lighting is 5.8%, so actually more than 30% in this case. And so lighting is a very, very significant portion of energy usage. We're actually about to take a crack at kind of working on heating and cooling, the other larger section of the pie here. In the next year, we are rolling into, it's not approved yet by the Public Utilities Commission, but our OneStop program is going to start including heating and cooling as a part of the rebates and the services that we offer in OneStop. So we're very excited about that, and that gives people additional savings opportunities that they can take advantage of in the OneStop program. So hopefully the Public Utilities Commission will approve that, but we think it's going to be great when they do. What we focus on are optimizing how the building is working and looking at short time paybacks, so less than 2 years. And you'll see when I get to some examples later how we focus on shorter time frames for payback. But also we do find very significant savings opportunities for companies and businesses. And lastly is our energy intelligence program that we work with Xcel Energy. And this is a tool. I'll show you the next slide. You can see what it looks like. But this is a tool that we work with small manufacturers to provide them real-time feedback to help manage their energy use. We determine how much and when they're using energy, and we allow, by seeing when they're using energy, that helps us identify wasted energy during production periods. So like, oh, they've left a fan on in a closet. You can see that when you're looking at their energy use. You can see demand peaks that may cause higher energy bills, and say, well, that demand peak pops up. If you just shave that little chunk off, that could save you, a couple $100 a month. So that's what we're doing with our energy intelligence, is looking at when they're using energy to help them save. And then we do an assessment of the building and the equipment to kind of really, show them kind of what their baseline of energy use is, and help them develop strategies to optimize their energy use. And this is really about implementing the strategies that we find. So there's a behavioral component, a strong behavioral component to this project. And this is a slide you can see right here. What this showed right here. You can see the kind of on the morning and then the evening after everybody goes home. There's the demand curve. But what they had been doing is this particular business had left an air compressor on because it took a little bit longer to fire it up in the morning, so they just decided to leave that air compressor on. The only reason was for convenience, and then it was attached to some kind of very high-tech cutting tool. It was like a laser-based cutting tool. But our engineers went in, they looked at that, and they said, well, is there any reason that you leave those on? Because if you turn them off, you would save 4% of your annual energy use by just turning them off and going down to your baseline of energy use. And they started turning it off and literally just flipping a switch off, and they saved 4% of their annual energy savings just by knowing, by just being able to see it like here. So it's a really powerful tool that can help. So here's some examples of projects that we've done. These are, lighting projects, engineering services project, but K through 12 school. This is an existing building commission, 22% savings, 1.3 year payback. Office building, 16% savings, 2-year final payback. And just on down the list, college campus facilities, 39% savings, 4-year payback. A part of that, the MSU Mankato was included in that. That was a very large project that we did. MSU Mankato was included in that. They found some very significant savings there. The museum, there was 10% savings there. A little bit longer payback, 3-year payback. Some of these longer paybacks, though, municipal buildings, college facilities, in those cases you can kind of stand to have a little bit longer payback because a college is planning to be in Mankato 4 years from now, 5 years from now. It's a little bit different business case than for somebody who may own a facility but might want to sell it in 2 years from now, 3 years from now. But very significant savings you can see that our engineering services have found with shorter payback periods. You go talk to Madison East, and I know that somebody is here from Madison East. They'll tell you that not only do they like the savings a lot, but people in the mall and their tenants much prefer the new lights. So it's a win-win. It's a project we did in the city of Slaton, also our lighting team, saving the city. And Slaton's not a large facility, or it's not a large city. They have their budget is smaller obviously than Mankato's, but their savings, their city electricity savings are $2,800 per year. This is a council-led project, 1.7 year payback, and $2,800 per year in savings. And we talked to the city administrator for this event we did with them, and they tell you they shovel the money right back into other city priorities. The money goes back to other departments, to roads, to city wastewater. It goes right back in. It does not have to be sent out and wasted. So this was the city of Slaton was a great project that showed the benefits to municipal governments from upgrading their lighting systems. And again, this was attributed only to chain lighting. So this is something I'm very proud of. CE has worked with 107 cities in our OneStop program. These are airports, city halls, wastewater treatment facilities, police and fire, cemeteries, liquor stores, golf courses, you name it. And to date, we're saving these cities $1.7 million per year through lighting retrofits alone. So these 107 cities are saving $1.7 million through lighting retrofits alone. So very, very significant savings for these. That's $1.7 million that didn't have to be collected from the taxpayers or from state aids. It's just pure savings that can go back towards the bottom line. And our OneStop program has served more than 12,000 customers, and to date it has saved these customers almost $500 million, $480 million. OneStop has saved these customers, and right now it's saving these customers about $100 million a year. So very, very significant through. This is a project that we did, our engineering services did, Horizon Middle School in Moorhead, and this is just an example of how a new building can be optimized. This is a great example. This is a brand new building, built very well, latest and greatest, all really great equipment that was included in it. But the building wasn't optimized. So even though it was what they thought was a very efficient building, and if you look at the building, I've got handouts here, you can see how it's a very attractive building, a very modern looking building. It looks very efficient. But there were problems, and the pressure inside the building was all off. There was high pressure in the building. The building was hot when it's supposed to be cool. It was cool when it was supposed to be hot. So they needed a recommission. They needed to kind of dial that building in and recommission it to kind of get it going the way it should have, the way it was intended. So what our engineering staff did, they went in, descended on the building, looked at what was happening. They found that intake fans were overpowering the return fans. That's why there was the pressure problems. And the pumps were not synchronized with outdoor temperatures. The hot water system wasn't optimized, and the air handling units operated when nobody was present. The implementation of these improvements are saving the Moorhead schools $141,000 per year at about a 3-year payback. It was $422,000 in total cost. So that was a new building, and this example shows that even new buildings can stand to be recommissioned. We also have CE for residential customers. Those are our business programs. But for residential, I know there's a number of people here who are interested in residential work. For residential programs, the CE offers our Home Energy Squad. We have visited more than 12,000 homes since 2010, 2,600 HES visits in 2015. Very significant savings. But this is a comprehensive whole home program. We engage with cities and community-based marketing, and these are direct installs of gas and electric measures. And then we offer a customized energy savings recommendation, so new insulation in the roof or the attic or in the walls, and then you get a home energy score, energy fit home score we call it, from 0 to 100. So it's a cool product, a cool program that we offer. And then our lending program, CE offers financing to residential property owners. We partner with a number of organizations, Department of Commerce, MHFA, Xcel, Great River Energy, and we offer over 100 different loan programs that are administered by the Lending Center at CE. And we do both residential and commercial loans. Our commercial loans are for profit entities up to $100,000. The rate is about 3.9%, terms of 5 years or less. For nonprofit, we have a 0% loan, maximum loan of $25,000, and term of 5 years. Again, we want people to benefit from their energy savings, so we have a little bit shorter paybacks. We tend not to go for the longer paybacks. And the eligible projects include lighting, HVAC, envelope, building envelope, solar. We do offer a solar loan, and other efficiency programs, projects, cost-effective energy efficiency, and we will try to find a loan for it. On residential programs, we have an energy loan Rates range from 0 to 6.99%, and we have a home improvement loan, which is where most people do their efficiency upgrade. And so lastly, I thought this would be something that would be really good for everybody here, but resources for businesses to optimize their energy use. Obviously CE, and I've talked a lot about that, but the utilities themselves have great programs. I've included in your packet Xcels, a very long handout that Xcel has on all of their energy efficiency programs. They've got turnkey audits, lighting upgrades, equipment rebates, recommissioning, refrigeration, everything, whole building, and I included the webpage in here, and I encourage you to get in touch with your Xcel representative to talk to them about the rebates and how the conservation program can work for them. A turnkey audit is a great way. It's kind of in between our lighting program and our engineering services, and turnkey audit can come in for a low fee and really do great work and really kind of assess what's going on and can really assess what's going on in the facility. Centerpoint, again, great rebates, boilers and chillers and HVAC. Benco, I would contact them directly. They have an on-site energy efficiency manager, John here, who can walk you through the available rebates, and the same with Greater Minnesota Gas. I would contact them directly. And lastly, I would recommend the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce. They also have their own conservation program that I would encourage you to get in touch with them. It's called the Energy Smart SIP program, and it helps Minnesota businesses find their way through energy efficiency programs statewide. It's really a nice tool that they put together to help walk people through. And with that, I really appreciate your time and thank you for listening here, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. And here are our partnerships, the people that we work with.